When you win a national title, you expect things to go well in recruiting. That's exactly what's happened on National Signing Day for the Florida State Seminoles. Joining me now, Gene Williams from warchant.com. And Gene, how would you grade this class? Because it looks great to me.
Well, it's great everywhere you look. If you add up all the stars, it's good. And most importantly, as coaches always talk about, you talk about needs, and they talk across the board at every position. They did exactly what they needed to do. They got a bunch of playmakers on both sides of the ball. So, if I'm a coach, I think this is a solid A class without a doubt, and ranked pretty much by everybody in the top 5 as well. So that's always important.
And Jimbo got a couple of late additions as well on signing day.
Yeah, he really did. I mean, Derek Nadati was a guy they really need. That's one of the positions they need. Defensive tackle from Virginia Beach, one of the top defensive tackles in the country, be able to get him to come in. Roderick Johnson from Missouri. It's a mammoth offensive tackle to come in and help him out there as well. And you can't forget about Ermon Lane. Here's a 5-star receiver from South Florida, one of the top receivers in the country, able to get him to come in and fill in an important role there as well. Javon Harrison also came in, a Virginia Tech commitment, who's also a wide receiver. So, yeah, they definitely added some nice players down the stretch.
You hit on defensive line, offensive line. Seems to me those were areas of needs. Would you agree that Jimbo addressed those?
Yeah, you could say that in flying colors. They signed 7 offensive linemen, another one if you count a gray shirt guy who's going to roll next January. Absolutely loaded up there. 4 offensive tackles, and that was a huge position of need for this class because they're real thin there. They've got 2 senior starters right now, not a whole lot of guys behind them. And you go over to the other side of the ball, defensive line, losing Timmy Jernigan to the NFL or Jacoby McDaniel. They absolutely need to load up with guys, and there's guys inside guys, there's outside guys, there are guys that can play both. And again, at big numbers and a lot of big names in there too. So those are the #1 positions in need for Florida State. And again, A's on both sides of the ball there for Florida State.
Jameis Winston had 3 reliable wide receivers to turn to last year. Can this great crop of wide receivers, any of these guys step in right away?
I think there's a good chance of that because Rashad Green returns, but really after him, there's really no experience,
right.
And everyone's going to start from a clean slate. I mentioned Ermon Lane, but I'll tell you, they got to watch out for it. It's Travis Rudolph, rated by Rivals.com as the #1 wide receiver in the country. He's a 5-star recruit. Reminds you a little bit of Rashad Green, about 6 foot, about 180 pounds, can absolutely fly, is ridiculous in the open field. Nobody can catch this guy. I think he'll have an opportunity as a true freshman to maybe crack the starting lineup, at the very least get in the regular rotation, get a lot of playing time here. And I mentioned Javon Harrison earlier. He's another physical receiver who could get some playing time as a freshman.
Now, I mentioned Jameis. He could potentially go to the NFL a year from now. Is there a quarterback? Talk about the quarterback that Jimbo picked up in this recruiting cycle, and could he be the quarterback of the future for the Seminoles?
Yeah, absolutely. They picked up J.J. Constantino, a 4-star recruit. Now, he's from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. If you follow football, you know they put out some pretty good quarterbacks in Western Pennsylvania over the year, and he is right in that mold. One of the best arms, I think, in all of high school football this year. He's got a quick release, 6'4", real nice size, can make all the throws in the field. And he's also pretty athletic, too. No, he's not a burner who's going to run all over the field, but he can pick you up a first down here and there running the football. And a very sharp guy, too. Got to see him out here at FSU's camp last summer, throwing darts all over the field, making long throws, short throws, screen passes. He can do it all. So I think it's going to be very interesting. If Jameis Winston does what we think and leaves for the NFL after next year, you'll have Sean McGuire coming back, who's going to be a veteran, but you also have J.J. Constantino, and then also John Franklin, who's the top scout team quarterback right now. It'll be a very interesting competition here in about a year from now.
Gene Williams, founder of warchant.com. You can follow him on Twitter @warchantgene. Gene, thanks.
Thanks, Jeff.